How has your work affected you personally?
It's made me a deeply cynical bastard.
This is my secret life.
This is my secret life.
This is my secret life.
I grew up in Ireland, a country that has been deeply affected by terrorism. As a child, it seemed that the people who devote their lives to this kind of behavior, they've got to be mentally ill or psychopathic. In college, I found myself taking a class in social psychology. My professor was this terrorism expert. His argument was, all we ever really see is the end result of when the people that we call terrorists do what they do. We don't see the long and winding road that they take as a result. We look for a neat, simple explanation, and typically we say they must be just evil in some way. That idea changed my life. I wanted to become a psychologist who studied terrorism. When I sit down and interview a former terrorist, I'm trying to understand the motivations for becoming involved in terrorism with all of its complexity and with all of its nuance. Nobody wants to hear that this is complicated. My challenge is to try to convey just how complex this issue is. Terrorism is a strategy. We can engage it with military solutions, but it's not going to stop terrorism. What we really ought to be doing is figuring out how we can make that strategy less appealing, how we can engage it without actually making it worse. We need to move beyond these simplistic questions that currently, I think, just prevent us from actually doing something really meaningful. It's difficult not to have a sense of profound disillusionment with the world and with humanity. I've been visiting Pakistan, and I've had an extraordinary opportunity to visit de-radicalization facilities that are aimed at young kids who are recruited into the Taliban. These kids are then rescued by the Pakistan Army and are given a second chance at life. I sat down with a failed suicide bomber, and he was an 11-year-old boy who decided very bravely at the last minute he didn't want to go through with this operation, and he gave himself up. And I thought to myself, how selfish I am to be so deeply cynical when here we have an extraordinary example of people who can and do change. There's always hope. And it sounds so cliche, it sounds so hokey, but those are the kinds of success stories we should never ever lose sight of.